Now it's time for something a bit special. In front of me is what I consider to be the best gadget I've ever built for the Gadget show. And it's based on what I think is the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed in 3 years on this programme. Something I saw at the CeBIT technology show in Germany. The mind-boggling mindwriter. This has to be the ultimate interface, controlling a computer using nothing but your brain. Now, all the electrodes on his head, what they do is they pick up the EEG, or the electrical activity of the brain, and they translate that into letters. Apparently, the guy wearing the electronic swimming hat uses a sort of yes-no protocol by thinking about moving his right arm when he wants to get a positive response, and his left arm for a negative response. In this way, he can, apparently, write whole sentences purely by the power of thought. I gave him a test to write out the Gadget show by just using his power of thought, and amazingly, in just a few minutes, he did just that. It was a truly inspirational moment. Now that got me thinking about how I could build my own DIY mindwriter right here in the Gadget show workshop. To make my mindwriter, I'm going to use something I built in the first series of the Gadget show, my £1 lie detector. This detects stress levels by measuring the conductivity of electricity in the skin. If I'm able to control my stress levels, then I shall be able to control an electrical current with my thoughts. And here is the latest version of my lie detector, just a transistor and a resistor. Now, by using an old mouse, I can connect the wires from my lie detector onto its circuit board, which will allow my thoughts to operate the mouse's left click button. So that's the hardware component of my DIY mindwriter complete, and this is how it works. Power comes out of the mouse port and travels down the mouse cable, ending up in the circuit board inside my mouse. It then continues into my lie detector. Again, it travels up along what I'm calling the electrodes, these two cables, which I then place on my skin. Then, if I can lower the resistance of my skin, more electricity will flow and trigger the switch in my lie detector. When that happens, a signal is sent and the left button is switched. Now, the big question is, how do I lower the resistance in my skin? Well, it's quite simple. I just sweat. Lie detectors work by using what's called the galvanic skin response. That's to say, the moisture your skin produces when your emotions are running high. In my case, I'll be trying to control this response by using just my mind. The final stage of my DIY mindwriter project is the most exciting because it involves software. I had to ask a friend of mine who's a programmer to make me a little program which he's calling mindwriter. The idea is pretty straightforward. The program cycles through all the letters of the alphabet. What I've got to do, if I'm looking to, say, write the letter G, is wait for the letter G to come up and then think of something emotional so that I can get the little transistor in my lie detector to trigger the left mouse button and write the letter on the screen.
I will be absolutely amazed if you can make this work.
I've definitely had some success with this, but I've got a feeling it's one of those things that needs a bit of time, but, you know, nevertheless, we'll give it a go. I'll just tell you exactly what we're going to do here. I'm going to put the things I call the electrodes, they're not strictly electrodes, but we'll call it that. I'm going to put them on my skin, OK? And then I'm going to set the alphabet off, continue scrolling through all the letters. And when it gets to certain letters, I'm going to try and think of something really emotional that will, you know, cause the galvanic skin response that I've talked about, sweat, basically, in my fingers. And hopefully, that will lower the resistance, the signal will go through, and I'll click on the letter. I'm going to try and write Gadget.
You're going to try and write Gadget with your mind.
That's it, Suze. Should we give it a go?
Yes.
The large box on the screen shows the letters continually cycling round. If I activate the letter with my mind, it will appear in the small box on the right-hand side.
I've set the frequency of the letters as they scroll through.
5 seconds, we're getting up.
Yeah, so I'm getting quite a long time.
Haven't you got to start to concentrate and get excited?
Well,
G's
I've got to
coming
time
out.
it. Hang on D, I better get ready for G. What should I think of, Suze?
Well, don't say. I think it's something rude.
OK.
Ruder.
I concentrated really hard, but I peaked too early and got an F instead of a G.
Calm. Right.
What,
okay.
wait, no,
Can we clear that one?
What did you think about?
I can't tell you that. It involved you and John, that's all I'm saying. Wow! That's not bad, is it? All right, I'm starting now.
I began to try and control my mind in order to select an A. Yet again, I was early, and instead of the A, I got 3 letters at the end of the alphabet.
Oh, no.
So my mind was writing the letters, but I needed to improve my timing.
Seriously, I need to calm down.
This time, I was going for the D.
You got it! Go for G.
Could I get the right letter again?
Yes!
I'd now got 2 correct. I really was writing with my mind, but I was still struggling with my timing and got an H instead of the E. I had just the T to go. Could I get this one right?
Yes! Oh, that is amazing!
Look at what you've got. F,
Yep.
which is really close to G. You only
G
just
for
missed
Gadget,
that.
yeah.
And
W,
then-
which was when I was going for A.
Yeah.
So W, X, Y, Z. So what am I, 4, sort of 3 or 4 off?
Yeah.
And then
Then
there's a
you
bit
got
of
the
a-
D.
Yeah.
You got the G, just a little bit off for the E.
E, yeah.
And then you got the T.
Home.
But for something that doesn't cost more than, I would say, £1, that's incredible.
Driving simulators. I put them to the ultimate test. Can they really compare to the real thing?